Hits by the pound.
Yeah, this is how we do it in the Central Coast, man. We got 40 ounces, Old English, rag tops, 6'4" Impalas, and bikini girls, man. This is how we do it on the West Coast. San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles. But don't forget about the Central Cali, man. Please don't forget about the Central Cali. Yeah, get 'em.
It's another sunny day in the state of California. Low rider palm trees and G's that put it on ya. This ain't a negative, we speaking ebonics. Rank talk, candy paint on D's with hydraulics. Baseball hat with the sticker on the brim. Don't let the sun blind your sight, cause things can get grim. But I'm not here to talk about banana clips and guns. We're going back to Cali and we're gonna have some fun. A West Coast domination.
And welcome back to Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura. We're doing something a little different today. I'm not in my vehicle, but this is just maybe a 1-2 time deal, and we'll continue to do however we have to do this. But thank you for joining in, and I hope everybody's ready for the weekend, so on and so forth. It's been a long week, but thank God it's Friday, right? Anyhow, guys, tonight I want to get into a couple of things. Getting right into it is, I want to get into a couple of things. I think the definition of a hustler is a little bit, nowadays, is overrated. People tend to throw the word around. I'm a hustler, I'm a go-getter, and To me, I mean, it's, I don't know, the way I look at it, maybe just being older, I look at it as, it's called responsibility. Doing what you have to do. I don't like being like, oh yeah, he's a hustler. Like, no, dude, I'm doing what I have to do to make my ends meet, to take care of my family. A lot of people believe that, I'm responsible, man. I pay my bills, and that's one part, but the other big part, guys, is the biggest part is responsibility. That doesn't mean that you pay your bills, etc., etc. That is responsibility. But responsibility starts from the moment your alarm clock goes off. You get up, you get ready, you leave with time from your house to get to your job on time. As the old saying goes, if you walk into the building, if you start work at 8 and you walk into the building at 8, you're late. Means you show up 15 to 10 minutes before, or more than that, but I mean, for the most part, 10 to 15 minutes. So by the time your start time comes around, you're already ready and prepped and ready to roll. And I say that to say this is that this morning on my way to work, there was an accident on the way, which held me back in traffic. I showed up to work about, I would say about 45 minutes late or so. Something to that effect. But again, due to irresponsibility, people leaving the house late, they're in a hurry, it's bad road conditions, be it fog, we're going into the winter after the fall, then there's rain. People are in a hurry. And I say that because a little bit past that accident, there was another accident where another car rear-ended another one. And as soon as we got past, the traffic part, I almost got hit. And I had to swerve off the road to avoid getting hit by an irresponsible person who's behind me and irritated because we were stuck in traffic due to another accident. But yet, he almost caused an accident and almost caused me to get hurt. And that's what I mean by responsibility, is when you're speeding down the road like a speed demon because you're late for work, that's not being responsible. Just because you pay your bills, that's not where it starts. It starts, from the very beginning. Driving, safe, not having to drive and cut people off. Yes, I get it. There's sometimes that people are just, seems like they're asleep on the road, or like they're like zombies, don't know where they're going. But it's important to leave with good timing and get to work on time. Don't have to rush. But on to what we're getting at. And bear with me, I'm going to go into this. I'm trying to go into this. A lot of people, they there's a lot of bragging going on, a lot of braggadocious stuff, like, really quick to win. Like, say, for example, when football season, I mean, there's people when the team wins. Okay, I get it. It's part of the game, man. It's trash talk with fans and talking who's got the best record and yada, yada, yada. And then when they lose, they go into the stats. Then they go into the history, and then the person who's always winning or whatever, they're braggadocious and, oh, yeah. But the moment they lose, it's just a game, it humbles them really quick. And I just find that hilarious. It's like, hey, man, look, don't count your chickens until your eggs hatch, I always say. But anyways, that's just one of the things I had to get off my chest there. But back to what I'm saying is on the hustling part. Again, being responsible, wake up early. It's not just paying your bills. Knowing what you could afford and living within your means. That's all part of being responsible. Some people go like, oh, it's a hustler, bro. He's hustling. No, it's being responsible, dude. Really, in a sense. I mean, I guess you could look at it that way. I mean, yeah, he's a hustler. Okay, whatnot. You got people on the side of the road selling fruit, selling flowers, statues, candies, gums, whatever it is to make their money. I guess you can call it hustling, but I look at it more as being responsible to make their ends meet. Then again, you got some people who are out there begging, but actually live a better life than a lot of people do, and that becomes a scam. But that's a whole other issue. And let me get to what I'm getting at. One time, oh man, here we go with the short throat. I mean, with the dry throat again, guys. Sorry about that. One time, my son and I, we were out and about, and we had bought. I don't know why we had bought some candy. I'm not really a sweet tooth kind of guy. We had bought some chocolates and stuff, and we parked in front of a store I forgot what the heck we parked in front of. So this older lady comes up, and she's hyperventilating. She's like, oh, I'm like, what the heck? Like, I turn around, she goes, and she looks at me and she says, she comes up to my vehicle and she's like, can I have $1? Can I have $1? I need to buy a candy. My blood sugar's running low. My blood sugar's low. And so I was like, oh, but instead of reaching for money, because I don't carry cash, I went and grabbed some of the candy. And I gave it to her, because I'm like, well, shoot, by the time you go in and get it, you're going to pass out, lady, I mean, I'm trying to get her to eat a candy. She opens it up, stuffs it in her mouth, and she's like, And then I go, well, shoot, and I grabbed a little handful and I gave it to her. It was a bunch of chocolates or whatever. And she goes, okay, thanks. She sticks them in her pocket, turns around to the car next to me, and uses the same line. Hey, can I get $1? She's scamming. And I just sat there and looked at her and laughed like, man, like, really, you're going to go that far? But hey, to me, honestly, I mean, if you look up the word hustler, it becomes a go-getter and all this stuff. back in the day, it meant you're a con man. You're a con person. Hustler compared to a businessman. A hustler is going to hustle you out of something and give you nothing in return. A businessman is going to continue to sell you something, as you know, as was said by another friend of mine at one point, which I agree with. I mean, a lot of people are too proud to look, I guess, that they're in need, I guess. That's the best word I could come up with at this point. They don't want to have that image of themselves like, oh, I don't do that. Like, I'm not trying to do all that. And what I'm referring to is collecting cans and plastics, bottles, and so forth. I'm going to tell you something. I used to be like, nah, I ain't collecting cans. Like, forget that. Like, whatever. Back in the day, I ended up getting a job at a recycle place. And when I saw how much money I was paying people, it changed my mind. I thought to myself, man, if somebody really, dedicated, they could really make some good money off of this. I'll put it to you this way: this one guy, and mind you, I guess he had a ranch or something, but he had a party and he bought a bunch of drinks and stuff in cans. So he told me he pinned plastic bags, garbage bags to his ranch, around the ranch, and told the people to put the cans inside the bags when they were done. This guy showed up in a big truck in a dually with a trailer full of cans, aluminum cans, beer, sodas, and whatnot. I paid that man $800 and just recycle stuff. So you want to talk about hustling and pride? There's a very fine line between that. With that also, a lot of people, I've heard people, well, I'll shovel poop, man, to make ends meet. I'll do anything, because I'm a hustler. Don't say you'll do anything. Because I get it. Everybody wants to it sounds good. So, oh man, yeah, I'm this and that. It sounds good. But bear with me. If you say you'll do anything, let's just say somebody said, well, you know what, why don't you be a fluffer? Now, those of you who don't know, and I'm going to try to keep it very clean as much as I can, which is going to be a little difficult, but bear with me on this. For those of you who don't know what a fluffer is, it's the person behind the scenes, behind the porn film, who keeps the male at his peak in between scenes. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. So don't say you'll do anything, because that could pay you top dollar maybe, or whatever, or make a quick fast buck. Doesn't mean you'll do it. So don't say, oh, I'm a hustler, I'll do whatever. No, you won't. I won't. No, thank you. No, I'll go start picking up cans or something else. But yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm getting at, guys. Also too, I mean, I think we've drifted from what the word hustler comes from. It's like, now it's like anything, it's more of an image. People want to show off, like, yeah, look, I have this because I hustle. Nobody wants to say they work. Oh, I've met people who sound very ignorant. I'm sorry, I'm saying it. They sound ignorant. Oh, I work right here, but I hustle on the side, you know. I hustle on the side. It's like, dude, chill out. Then your side hustle is not that great because you wouldn't be working. You know, I could be wrong on that. I mean, I get it to an extent, but don't brag about something that's not fully successful. Because if it was really that successful, you would not be working at this job or whatever it is. I had one guy. I was at a recording studio one time with a group of friends, and this guy was on his phone, laying on the couch inside the studio, and we were talking amongst ourselves and saying something. You know, I forgot what it was. Whatever, we were having a discussion. The guy on the couch is completely ignoring us, which I didn't care. It's like, whatever, I don't even know who this guy is, you know. He looks up and he says, "Oh, don't mind me, man. I'm making money right now. I'm trying to make money right now on my phone. You know, I'm trying to, I'm hustling on that." And we all look like, yeah, who cares? Like, kind of like, who's talking to you, dude? Like, whatever. After about 20, 40 minutes or so, whatever, he gets up. He goes, "Hey, man, I need a jam. I need a ride. I need a ride." You know, he's asking one of the people at the studio that he needed a ride. And, well, where you going? "Yeah, I gotta go to work right now, bro. I gotta go to work. I gotta go to the, to the cannery or to the warehouse, whatever. I start at 12 or something, 12 midnight." And I'm like, okay, see, the perspective that he gave was that he's making money. You know, he's on his phone, whatever he was doing, but he's going to work. So, I mean, it's rather vague, guys, but I mean, it just looks stupid. I'm sorry. It looks stupid. So why even say something like that? You know, it's like, whatever, dude. Whatever. Back in the day, people sold DVDs and, movies where you see the people walking across the screen or whatnot. I mean, that was their side job or whatever. People made money off of that stuff. But it is what it is. It's not always enough to live off of. Sometimes it's like the music industry. A lot of people think that a lot of artists are very rich and you make a lot of money. Sometimes, yeah. But you got to be on the level of a Jay-Z or an Eminem or a Dr. Dre kind of deal. If not, you're not. It's not. It's good money. It's great money, but it's not money to live off of. But when you do get it, of course. But then it also depends on how you take care of it. I mean, that's just the way I tend to look at things. The other thing too is like, when you're a so-called hustler, entrepreneur, businessman, whatever, you have to learn how to conduct yourself with people. When it comes to business. And I say this because I saw an interview. Look, guys, I was not, for those of you who know about Master P and No Limit Records, which was a big, huge thing in the 90s, I think I like the stuff more now than I did then. I didn't really care for it back then. I wasn't a fan, per se. I mean, I was a fan of some of it, but not a lot of it. It just wasn't my thing, but I respect the way Master P, or Percy Miller, also known as Master P, handled this business. I followed those blueprints and what I was doing for a while, and I still do for that matter. But I saw him in an interview one time, and he said he was donating, $1 million or whatever to campaigns and stuff, and that the people who were running for president or whatever didn't come out and shake his hand or anything, right? And he was like, he said he would get upset, like, "Hey man, like, look, I just gave this dude $1 million and he's not, like, come on, you got to come out and at least shake my hand." But then he took a step back and reflected on himself. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he stepped back and looked back at himself. He was like, "Here I am, with the gold front teeth, a basketball jersey, some basketball shorts, and like all kind of like all tattooed up and doing everything like that. How do you expect people to come out and really, people of certain calibers, I guess you can say, if you want to judge people by that. I mean, or anybody be taken serious. He said he had to clean up his act and how to conduct himself. You know, I think it's on how you speak. When you're on social media, how do you spell? You know, if you're still trying to be a gangster on social media and you're past the age of 25, folks, it's, you know, hey, I understand a lot of times for a lot of people it's a way of life. I get it in all due respect. But when you're stepping into a branch of, you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you're trying to get into a business thing, you know, I mean, really, you have to change. You have to go into it a little, your approach has to be a little bit different if you want to be taken serious. You know. And that's really where it's at, you know. I mean, if you're still trying to do a slang thing and saying certain words and it just, it gives a bad perspective of you. Really. You know, I just think sometimes it's embarrassing. And don't get me wrong, even myself, sometimes I'll say stuff and I feel like, why did I do that? Or I read it back and I'm like, or I read it back as a memory and I say on my social media, I'm like, oh God, why did I say this? You know, and I just let it go. But for the most part, that's why I don't really go on to social media too much no more. But anyway, guys, going back into the hustling, I'm a, you know, go-getter and all this other stuff. I mean, that means, to me, means you're gonna leave your home very early to give yourself more than enough time to get to work. Okay, there's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. People want to look down and frown on that, like, oh, well, you know, this is all I know. Why would you say that? This is all I know. Why would you say that? Don't know. You should be learning more. Learn how to speak. Learn how to conduct yourself. You know, a lot of times, you got people out there doing things on social media, doing things on videos and so on and so forth. It's like, you gotta understand that's an image you're putting yourself in. I mean, unless you don't mind, that's your business, you know. But we all tend to grow up at some point, and you look back and be like, oh God, that's terrible. Or you feel embarrassed about it. And now we live in an era where everything's filmed. And you could take it down, but somebody already took it. And now it's being spread like wildfire. And you'll never get it off the internet. So, again, guys, my whole thing, and I know I'm kind of all over the place with this, you know, on this podcast. But my main thing is the word hustler, the meaning, and what I think needs to change. And it's just because it'll make us look and sound a lot better. You know, if you want to follow that pattern, you want to be taken serious, you want to conduct yourself when you walk into the building and whatever it is, you want to be able to talk right, know how to shake hands, know how to speak, not just, you know, slouching and waving around and thinking you look cool and fit because whatever, you know, you're wearing some Jordans or something. I mean, I don't know, whatever it is. And I'm not trying to stereotype. I mean, it all comes with it. Like it all comes with it. it's a whole other ball game than what people make it out to be. So with that, guys, I'm gonna call this one done. I could go on into more stuff, but I just think I made my point pretty clear. I just wanted to get this done and really get my point across and how I feel about that. And hopefully some of you listen. I don't expect that. I'm not saying that I'm right. I could be wrong. You could probably find a loophole in what I've said, but I think it's time for a lot of us to change for the better. Don't label yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. Do things, that's it's like pruning a tree that's going to give you more fruit. But you got to know what to cut off. Okay, guys, with that being said, thank you for tuning in to Two Face Entertainment. I am your host, Fred Segura, signing out.